Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about everything wrong with Mad City Chapter 2. Feel free to let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the points I make, because I know some people probably did enjoy this update. So yeah, enjoy. The first change that I want to talk about is pretty trivial, but it's the loading screen. Now, I will admit it's a lot nicer than before, but I kind of preferred the old one just for the simplicity of it. Most of the changes in this update heavily impact the way I play this game, which is why I'm really not happy about this update. So for starters, Frostbite, the only way I can Frostpath now is if I hold out the special attack, which means that I can no longer Frostpath while holding out the op or a shotgun, for example. Additionally, Frostpathing, before you used to be able to you could hold down jump and you could, Frostpath while jumping, but now if I press jump, you can see now it cancels my frost path. So if I want to, frost path and jump, I have to keep pressing shift every time I jump to get the frost path activated again. So it's a lot more inconvenient now if I'm trying to, get up to someplace higher. If you haven't noticed already, there's a little green circle next to my character's head. So basically all hero powers, including the frost path, they're not infinite anymore, so I can't infinitely frost path around. Eventually, it will run out, and then I have to wait for it to regenerate before I can use it again. The next thing, there's a new falling animation, or there's new falling mechanisms. So let's say I'm in the air and my frost path runs out, so I can't frost path again, and it forces me into this weird, animation where basically my sensitivity doesn't exist. So let me just fall from a higher spot. So that was a full drag across, this is a full drag across my mouse pad. Yeah, the sensitivity is so low on this falling animation, I really don't know why it's like that. Instead of being able to frost path again mid-air, now I have to deal with this super low sensitivity falling animation. The next change that they did, which I'm kind of happy and mad about, because you can spawn in the Warhawk now, which, if you didn't know, during the first couple of months of Chapter 2 you just couldn't spawn in any air vehicle, but they let you spawn in the Warhawk now. But as you can see down here, I have a 180-second cooldown before I can spawn it in again. It was pretty much just a quick method of transportation for me. The fact that, now I have to wait 180 seconds to get my transportation out is it's pretty annoying, because again, I basically spent 4 million just for faster transport, and now I can't have that whenever I want it. Alright, so the next change that they did, which is probably the worst change, heroes that already have a special attack, so pretty much everyone other than Hotrod, can no longer equip primary weapons. So, I'm spamming E right now, I can't pick up this op, and neither can I pick up the RPG as well. So, basically no more Frostbite op, which is pretty much the only way that I would play this game. So, pretty much my only method of playing this game has now been ruined. Now I understand why they did this. I think it was mainly to counter Frostbite RPG, because, as I've showed in the past, that combo is pretty broken. But, you could also argue that it's not really that hard to counter. If you're a smart player, as a criminal, let's say you're a criminal and you have a jetpack, just stay away from the ground so the RPG doesn't do area splash. And if you have good aim, or even decent aim, you could probably use the op, for example, to kill the Frostbite RPG hero. For me, personally, I never really had a hard time dealing with Frostbite RPG users, as long as I had, a jetpack, which isn't really that hard to get anyways. Basically, you could counter Frostbite RPG with smart movement and good aim, so I don't really think that this change was necessary. Now, Frostbite RPG wasn't the only broken combo. I've seen a lot of people use Hotrod RPG and sometimes Hotrod Jetpack RPG, and you see I can still pick up the RPG as Hotrod. So, to me, this completely defeats the purpose of making it so heroes cannot equip primary weapons, when broken combos like Hotrod RPG are still very much possible. So there is really no point in nerfing the heroes like that when Hotrod can still pick up the RPG. Also, in my opinion, Hotrod Jetpack RPG is essentially just a better Frostbite RPG, because, Frostbite can move around in the air, but Frostbite doesn't have, you know, the speed that Hotrod does, and if you have a jetpack you can still fly around. And also, you know, maybe you could say like, oh, they're taking away the RPG because, like, for Frostbite for example, you know, they're taking away the RPG because Frostbite already has a primary attack. But, you know, I've never used Frostbite's primary attack when I have a primary weapon equipped, and to be honest, I don't think anyone ever used their hero attacks when they had a primary weapon equipped. Next thing that I don't like is the way they reworked the Deagle. So I like that they gave it a headshot bonus because now, like I said in the other video, it does more damage, which makes it possible for being like a sniper sort of. But what I don't like is the massive amount of spread, or I guess you could say the amount of recoil. So basically, you know, every time I shoot, my crosshair expands and the shots get really inaccurate. You see how long it takes for the crosshair to go back to the original position. Like, I wish the recoil recovery was a bit faster so I could use the weapon a bit quicker during combat. Alright, so here I have my test subject, aka my alt account. Now, they reworked all weapons, so basically all weapons now have a headshot multiplier, which I'll talk about later, but there's a couple things that I don't really like about this headshot multiplier. So for example, the Deagle, it does 28 to the body normally. Now for me, like, I feel like a headshot multiplier should do twice the damage, but in the case of the Deagle, I think it only does like 50% of the damage, so it does 42 to the head, which, I mean, it's better than nothing because now the Deagle is a 3-shot, and you know, it allows me to play it a bit more like I would with the op. But I really wish the multiplier was ×2 instead, so that it would instead do 56 to the head, which would make it a 2-shot to the head. Which, you know, I don't think that's completely unfair, especially considering, you know, the insane amount of recoil it has and the amount of recoil recovery time it takes. The other change that I don't like is to snipers. So the op, it used to do 80 anywhere, now it does 80 to the head, but now it does 50 to the torso, which, you know, it's still a 2-shot to the torso, but it's really underwhelming considering it's, you know, a sniper that costs 400 Robux. I feel like it should be a really good weapon. I think it should do 120 or, you know, 160 to the head, at least 100 to the head. That way it can be actually worth the money. There's actually also quite a few other things that they did with the op that I don't like. So as you can see, my little crosshair, the white dot, is right on his head, but when I zoom in, the crosshair, it's slightly down into the left. And I'm really not sure why this is or how this even happens. Basically, I can't do any more quick scopes. So before this update, you know, I could quick scope people no problem, just tap right click, tap left click. But as you can see right there, my crosshair was on his head, and when I zoomed in, the shot just ended up going over his shoulder. So again, I have no idea why this happened, but you know, I can't quickscope anymore because all my shots go to the left. So I either have to compensate and aim to the right, or I just have to, you know, miss my shot entirely. Also, when looking down my scope, like, let's say I'm on a rooftop and, you know, there's a guy below me that I'm trying to snipe at, like, look at how much the Hotrod particle effects just block out the scope. I don't know why it blocks it out so much, but, you know, I wish they would at least remove the particle effects while I'm scoped in, because, like, how am I supposed to see anything like this? Also, the op scope sensitivity is ridiculously low for some reason, just like the falling animation, you know, where my sensitivity is just way too low. So let me just demonstrate. So here is one full swipe across my mouse pad. That's like a turn and a half, and now I will do it scoped in. Again, a full slide across my mouse pad, and it didn't even get a quarter of a turn. And as far as I know, there is no way to change this. Like, there's no setting that changes scope sensitivity. So, like, I don't know why they did this, but, you know, if I'm trying to scope in and snipe because, you know, I can't quick scope anymore because all my shots just go to the left, staying scoped in doesn't work either. because my sensitivity is just way too low for me to be able to, quickly, look around, turn around. Talking about sensitivity, my Roblox sensitivity, so as you can see right now, I have it at 0.45. If I set it back to, 1, before this update, this sensitivity was perfectly fine for me. But now, let me just do another full swipe across my mouse pad here. I mean, that's like 4 turns now. The sensitivity, it's just way too high now. I'm not sure what they did or why they did this, but this is pretty much the same sensitivity as jailbreak. So, now when I play this, I have to set my sensitivity down to about 0.45 to get it to feel the same as it did before. So another thing is they changed the hyperglider physics. Now, this isn't something I'm that mad about. I feel like it was kind of annoying anyways to have players, just infinitely gliding around you, spamming hyperglider rockets, but now you can't infinite glide. They changed the physics so it's more realistic, which, I mean, it is a $5 million vehicle that's kind of useless because I have to wait for the nitro to recharge if I want to keep flying around. And it's not like the GTA Oppressor where you touch the ground and it automatically starts recharging. I have to be on the ground for it to recharge, which is kind of annoying. It kind of makes it useless for $5 million, but it's at least less annoying to constantly see players just infinite gliding around the map shooting rockets. Now, this is another thing that I find pretty trivial, but in previous videos, as a hero, I would just come to the cop base and change my outfit out because, especially with Frostbite's outfit, I really don't like it. Like, I like wearing my own outfit, but now, as you can see, there's no option for me to change my outfit. So, whatever hero I'm playing as, I have to live with their outfit, which again is pretty trivial, but I would rather look at my own outfit than Frostbite's outfit. Another major thing that I don't like is that heroes, when you kill a criminal, it does not send them to prison anymore. You still get their bounty, but they respawn at the criminal base. So like if I kill my alt account here, he's not in prison, he is still a criminal. I mean, honestly, there's no point even playing as a hero, because usually I feel like you'd play as a hero as an alternate way to play the game, so you can kill criminals and send them back to prison instead of having to play as a cop and arrest them. And this goes on to like what I feel like really separated this game from jailbreak. Mad City, like the hero team, was what made Mad City, unique from jailbreak, because you could kill criminals to send them back to prison instead of having to arrest them. And again, while you still can collect bounties by killing criminals, the fact that you can't send them back to prison kind of just makes them a bit useless. And so this feels a bit more just like a jailbreak copy, because now the cop team is the only way to put criminals into prison, just like jailbreak. Now there's one other thing that I find still annoying, which I mentioned already in the cop video, but basically the handcuffs glitch still exists. So as you could see right there, the arrest option did not immediately pop up. I had to stand over his body before the option popped up, and I'm really not sure why that happens. There, see, like right there. I'm not sure why this happens. I'm not sure why it's still a thing, but I really hope they fix this. Alright, so with all of the things I hate out of the way, now let's talk about the few things that I actually liked about this update. So first off, I like that you can now zoom in and out. You can't zoom out as much as you can in jailbreak, which I wish you could zoom out further, but at least being able to zoom out and change your camera angle, it's a nice little quality of life addition, because before your camera was pretty much stuck at this zoom in, you couldn't change it. Now, like I mentioned earlier, they gave all weapons headshot damage, so like, let me just show an example with the MP5. So before I think it did like 8. Now it does 7 to the torso, but it does 11 to the head, which is, that's more than it used to do before. And like the AK, I think it used to do 10 to the torso, and now it also does 15 to the head. So yeah, I kind of like that. now they gave all guns headshot damage. Another thing is boost trails. So before, the nitro was just one color, orange, but now you see now it's like it's a galaxy color, and that's because you can actually customize it now. So let me go hop in the garage real quick. It's right here, boosts. So okay, I don't know what's up with my car. There we go. So as you can see here, boosts, I can change it now. So right now I have the Galaxy one equipped because it looks really nice, and it especially looks good on the Hyperglider when it's flying around. But you know, there's also like there's this, there's you know there's all kinds of different things here. So it's a small change. It's just a small cosmetic change, but it's nice. I like it. There's also a new drifting system which I quite like. So the old drifting system, basically it was just you hold shift and you can turn tighter. But you know, now there's a new, more realistic setting, which, you know, it's actually kind of fun to drive around with, especially for making like J turns now. Like, they're super easy to make with the new drifting system. So yeah, I really like that. Alright, well, I think that's all I have to say about Mad City Chapter 2. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that. You know, like I said, they ruined a lot of stuff for me in this game. Like, I can't Frostbite op anymore, and that was pretty much the only way I would play this game. That was one of the only things that made me enjoy this game. And you know, now they took it away from me. You know, they took away the one thing I loved. I don't know if I'll be playing this game in the future at all, because, you know, like I said, they ruined my main playstyle. But yeah, again, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I guess I'll see you guys in another video.